Now let's talk about the analytics function. Analytics is for when you want to look at single location, multiple location on statewide for a single year, or multiple year look of how varieties performed across the different locations in the OVT. So when you first go onto the Medius web page, you'll click on the analytics blue bar here on the right-hand side. This is going to take you to a view that looks very similar to this if you've never visited this website before. If you've visited this website and you've done analytics before, you'll have a different view. But this was the initial view when you first click on analytics. On the top here is trial year, so you can determine what single year data you want to look at, whether that's 2020 or previous years. And then you have an option to select data fields here. So in order to populate this field, we first need to select what data we want to look at. So when you click on the select data fields function, you're going to have a list of the different data that you can pull from that's currently in the variety selection tool. So for us, let's first look at yield, and let's also look at test weight. This will give us two options. So you click on both of these, click off, and you're going to see this rebuild analytics button. This will always show up whenever you change the data that you're looking for. So if you ever change from yield to test weight or add things, you're going to see this rebuild analytics button come up. Go ahead and click on it. It's going to do some calculation in the background. And now it's going to build out that table for 2020 for the 6 locations that we planted in 2020, separated by region. So Tidewater, Coastal Plain, and Piedmont across all 6. It's going to give you the 2020 averages by region and for statewide. And it's going to give you the multi-year. So this is 2018 through 2020. So 3 years worth of data for the 3 different regions as well as for statewide. So you're getting your single year data, your location data, and your multi-year data all in the same place. You can easily look across by variety to see how performance was by region. So we're looking at yield. Right now, it's only sorted by variety name, but we can click on any one of these headers here to sort it by location or by statewide. So we always want to start with 3 and 2 year tables, or 2 and 3 year data for looking at variety selection. So let's click on statewide over here in the multi-year data table. Now that's going to sort that data from highest to lowest based off of its multi-year, 3-year statewide averages. So you see here, USG 3118 was the highest in statewide across 3 years. Now you see these Y and L numbers also showing up. Y is the number of years that the variety is in the test for the 3 that we're looking at here, and L is the number of locations. So the higher number here, the better you can feel about the data quality for that. That's not to mean that the lower data doesn't matter. So for instance, down here, you see that USG 3230, you're only getting 1 year's worth of data out of it. That means it was only in the test for 1 year out of the 3 years that you're looking at, 1 year and 6 locations. Still good quality data, but you can feel more confident about these Y3L14s and maybe even a little bit more confident about this 2-year, 9 location data that you're seeing as well. So this is just an opportunity to look at data across multiple years and multiple sites. Let's say I wanted to change the number of years I'm looking at. I want to look at more than 3 years. You go up here and click on this gear icon. And now down here at multi-year averages, you can change this number. You can change it up to 5 years, and they'll say from 2016 to 2020, or you can change it down to 2 years if you want, or 2 years if you'd like, from 2019 to 2020. Let's change it to 5 years and see what that does. We'll hit the reload button, close this tool, and now you can see we have 5 years worth of data, 2016 to 2020. A lot of these lines are still only in the test for 3 years, but now you start seeing some 4-year lines that are in there. AgriMax 473, which has been a really good yielding variety, 18 locations worth. You have a 5-year, 20 locations in Hilliard, which is another variety that we recommend. So then you can change the amount of years that you're looking at. You also are probably asking about what these colors mean. Well, there's a color code down here at the bottom. So this teal color is the maximum yield or the maximum value for what you're looking at, whether that's yield, test weight, or something different. The different shades of blue from darker to lower is the above average. So anything in a really dark blue is high in that range, all the way down to that light blue here. So that's all above average. This white color, if it shows up, is exactly the average value. And anything in yellow, starting at a light yellow, working its all the way down to a very deep yellow is below average. And then your red is your absolute minimum value. And this is all looking at standard deviations above and below a mean. So you can feel good about making selections in this teal or these blue categories here. And you can also look across regions. So for USG 3118, did really, really well in the Tidewater list last year, did well in the coastal plain, was a below average in Rowan, but did well in Union. It has done fairly consistently well across all regions last year and has done really well multi-year statewide. So this gives you an opportunity to look at different data across multiple regions. We can also look at, we've selected test weight before. Let's click on test weight again. Again, let's go over here to statewide and sort by statewide from highest to lowest. And now you can see that Featherstone 125 in 5 years, because we still have 5 years selected, was only in the test for 1 year, but had some really good test weight that 1 year. You have Agramax 41 with a really good test weight over 3 years in 14 locations. We can do this for any number of different values. All right, so let's say you found from looking at this, because you're looking at the table to find varieties that might work for your operation. Let's say you see some varieties you really like. How do I look deeper and look at those varieties side by side? Well, now we can go over here and click on the varieties themselves to do a variety compare. So let's say I wanted to look at USG 3118. I can click here. Let's say I wanted to look at Agramax 492. That's a new line. You can see it has a Y1L6. That's brand new. Let's compare those two. And then let's look at an older line. So let's look at this Y4L18, Agramax 473. So I got 3 lines here that I've selected that I want to compare. Now you can go up to this crossed arrow, compare selected varieties. And that'll take you to the variety comparison that Dr. Post talked about earlier. Now you can look and see at these 3 lines, where they were tested, the number of records that we have, the years they were tested, and then we can look across how their yield did, how they compared against Hilliard and 26R41, their test weight, their protein, and a lot of different other metrics associated with these lines. Again, just like you saw on the compare variety tool, you can also look at images and videos for these lines, and you can look at tech sheets by clicking on these links next to the variety. So that's the analytics tool. If you want to look at tables like you've looked at in the past, particularly if you want to look at multi-year and single-year data in the same place, you really want to start with the analytics tool. Thanks.